I used to walk you home. I used to hold your hand. You used to use my umbrella every time it rained. You used to cry so much, it was a crying shame. You used to live over yonder by the railroad track. When it rained you couldn't walk, I used to tote you on my back. Now you're trying to make believe it wasn't no days like that. Hello, Josephine, how do you do? Do you remember me, baby, like I remember you? You used to laugh at me and holler, boo, boo, boo.
Josephine, how do you do? Do you remember me, baby? You know I remember you. You used to laugh at me, but I was a fool, fool, fool. I used to walk you home. I used to hold your hand. You used to use my umbrella every time it rained. Now you laugh at me, honey, you know it's a crying shame. Yeah. Hello, Josephine, how do you do? Do you remember me, baby? No, I remember you. Honey, you used to laugh upon me. You said I was a fool, fool, fool. Used to walk you home. Used to hold your hand. You used to use my umbrella every time it rained. Now you laugh at me. Ain't that a crying shame? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. We're getting good tonight. Hello there, Josephine. How do you do? How about a date, pretty baby? I'd like to shake it one time with you.
Jerry Lee Lewis at the piano, just 1 year after Fats Domino doing his version of Hello, Josephine. It's kind of fun to hear Fats with a kind of African Caribbean beat, and there's Jerry Lee rocking it with a big backbeat, but he's got that guitar feature that makes it sound so much more like rock and roll.
Now blue ain't the word for the way that I feel.
That's Jerry Lee Lewis in his first recording at Memphis Sun Records in 1956 on the country tune Crazy Arms. That's what was playing on the car radio over 40 years later as we headed out in search of the killer. We're rolling down a kudzu-covered side road outside of Memphis now, Nesbit, Mississippi, and coming up on the Jerry Lee Lewis Ranch. Been wanting to come see Jerry Lee. Hope we get a chance to talk to him here. It's his birthday. Here's the gate with the big piano. Maybe we better press that phone button there and see if Carrie's in.
Open up, honey, it's your lover boy, me, let's knock in.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, come on up. I want to talk to you for a second.
Okay, thank you. Well, the gate to the Lewis Ranch slid open for just a second. We're going up the driveway past the Killer's car collection and heading up to the house, and I think we're going to talk to Phoebe Lewis. And there are a lot of fans here because this is Jerry's birthday. They're all eating hot dogs and drinking pop and hoping to get a glimpse of the man himself. Inside the gate, we found a frenzied gaggle of fans and friends from all over the South and all over the world, all hoping for a word from Jerry Lee on his 64th birthday. And sure enough, he showed up and spoke to the assembled radio and TV crews.
We've got the Killer out here today, live in person at Jerry Lee Lewis Ranch for the very first worldwide convention of Jerry Lee Lewis on his birthday weekend. What do you attribute the fact that people are still showing up and still going nuts over Jerry Lee?
Just the old music that we used to do. We have good shows and we have great crowds. We're still rocking, and like I heard you say on the radio the other day, Jerry Lee may be 64, but he's still a hot 64.
Tonight, we've got the Jerry Lee's top 5 records of all time. We're going to be playing those in the top 5 at 5. What is your absolute favorite record that you ever did?
Red Bombs of Fire.
Great. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
We're at the Jerry Lee Lewis Ranch today, and it's happening. His fan club worldwide convention happening today and also tomorrow. There's still time to come on out and have some fun with the Killer from Oldies 95.7.
I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, now, honey.
As the fanfare and music faded, we spoke to a family member to see if American Roots would get a chance to talk to Jerry Lee. Hey, this is Phoebe Lewis, who's Jerry Lee Lewis's daughter. There seems to be a beautiful family resemblance.
Oh, thank you so much.
I understand you like public radio.
I love it. I listen to PRI every day of my life. I think it's the best thing going on radio.
Well, I know your daddy likes to get his rest, and we don't want to interrupt him, but if you wouldn't mind checking for us, we'd appreciate it, and we'll roll with your flow.
All righty, let me go see what he says. He's going to say wait till he gets dressed, but
All right.
Great balls of fire.
The question remained, would we get a chance to talk to Jerry Lee Lewis? We'll be back in a moment on American Roots to find out the answer.
If you do love me, let's please don't tease. If I can hold you, then let me squeeze. My heart goes round and round. My love comes a-tumbling down. You leave me breathless.
I'm Nick Spitzer, and this is American Roots. It was back in 1969 that I last spoke with Jerry Lee. It was my first radio interview ever. It was on Jerry Lee's tour bus behind the Philadelphia Civic Center just after he had caused a near riot by ending a country concert with a rock and roll rave-up. Now here I was waking him up mid-afternoon almost 30 years later, as he stood on the back porch in his bathrobe, surrounded by cats and dogs. Hey there, Mr. Lewis. How you doing?
Excuse me, I just woke up.
Well, a man needs his rest. Well, Jerry Lee, I just wanted to ask you, what does it take to make great rock and roll?
It takes a real great God-given talent to make a real great rock and roll singer and a piano player, guitar player, whatever it might be. Of course, I play all instruments myself, but piano is my instrument.
Yeah, did you find that God-given talent in Ferriday back as a kid, or did it just...
Yes, that's where I was born and raised, in Ferriday.
Yeah. Beyond your God-given talent, you also did some serious learning, it sounds like. I know you learned something from the blues and from gospel music as well.
Only old colored people around Ferriday picking the blues on the guitar on the side of the streets, on corners, and by the picture show, places like that. I used to hear them there, and I really liked it. They called it blues, they called it boogie woogie, and then they changed the name of it to rock and roll. So I don't know. Mine's a little bit different, I think.
Well, you kind of changed the name of it to rock and roll, too.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You put your signature on that keyboard.
For sure.
Why do you think that among rockabilly musicians, there's really only one great known piano player like yourself?
Well, because there just wasn't any other that could cut it, I don't guess.
Now, we're from New Orleans. We know you have some affection for New Orleans, being that it's the great old city of your home state.
Yeah, I've always wanted to live in New Orleans.
Never made it down there to live?
Not to live. I've often thought of it. I'm still thinking about it. Well, I even hitchhiked down to New Orleans one time trying to get a record out, and I was about 13, 14 years old. Scared my mom and daddy to death. But I give up on that trip, and I come on back to Ferriday, and then I waited, got me a job over the wagon wheel in Natchez, Mississippi, and then I come to Memphis when I was 20 years old, and just before I turned 21, as a matter of fact, and got my record out and got started with Sam Phillips, Sun Records.
Looking back on your life in rock and roll, blues, country music, all the things, your ups, your downs, would you ever try to do anything different?
No, not a thing. Well, maybe a few things. In a little bit different way, I don't know. I do some heavy thinking on that.
You took rock and roll from the middle of the century in America. We got another century coming. Do you think rock and roll has a future?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think rock and roll would die. If it does, I'd like to see what they're going to replace it with.
You have fans in country music who sometimes they didn't like the rock as much. On the other side of the life, you got some rock and roll fans that came to your rockin' side who never quite understood you were a country boy to begin with. Yeah,
well, I was a country boy. That's true, but I never was a country boy. There's country boys and there's country boys. Me, I was a kind of a country city boy.
Uh-huh.
I always wanted to be in the city. I never liked the country. I didn't like farming. My daddy he worshipped farming. And that was something I knew was not my talent.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can raise cotton or you can raise a ruckus.
I can raise both.
Whoops. Sorry. Make sure kitty cat stays in.
Yep, I want the big dogs to get it.
No, that would be terrible.
Just getting here.
Let me just say happy birthday. I know you got a party going on this weekend.
Yeah, got a party going on. Started yesterday, and we're having out at Soundstown tonight at the casino. We're having a party out there tonight for all the fan club members and people.
39 and holding?
59 and scheming, and 64 and dreaming.
Jerry Lee Lewis, I want to thank you for being with us here on American
It's
Roots.
my pleasure, young man. Good to see you again.
Come on over, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Yes, I say come on over, baby, baby, you can't go wrong. We ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on.
Out back, behind the barn at the Lewis Ranch near Memphis. He's ragged, but he's right, as the old song goes. A lot of miles on Jerry Lee. But let's go back to his glory days at Sun Records for the last word. This is an almost autobiographical account of one of rock and roll's most enduring and endearing tricksters. Jerry Lee proclaiming, "It'll be me," on American Roots.
If you hear somebody knocking on your door, if you see something falling across the floor, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you you see a head a peeping from a crawdad hole, if you see somebody climbing up a telephone pole, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you. Gonna look on the mountains and in the deep blue sea. Gonna search all the forests, looking every tree. If you feel something heavy on your fishing hook, if you see a funny face in your comic book, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you. Somebody hanging from a lamppost bright, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you. If you see somebody looking in all the cars, if you see a rocket ship on its way to Mars, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you. Gonna look in the cities where the lights are blue. Gonna search the countryside, all the haystacks too. Well, if you see a new face on a totem pole, if you find a lump in your sugar bowl, baby, it'll be me. And I'll be looking for you.
Hello, folks. This is Jerry Lee Lewis. I'd like to say you're listening to the American Roots.
As I passed by a real fine hotel, a chick walked out. She sure looked swell. I gave the eye and started to carry on. When a Cadillac cruised up and swish, she was gone. It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
Hey, 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 hey.
Driving that Cadillac.
A little later on, a theater I passed, I spotted another chick, and did she have class. I was all set to write her name in my book when her husband came up and gave me a real dirty look. It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
It should have been me to have been her chaperone. When I got to the corner, I saw a sharp cat with a $300 suit on and a $100 hat. He was standing on the sidewalk by a diner floor when a voice within said, "Come on, Daddy, let's go." It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
Hey, 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 hey. Driving that diner floor. I ate a bowl of chili, and I felt okay, at least until I passed this fine cafe. I saw a guy eating a great big steak, while a waitress stood by feeding him ice cream and cake. It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
It should have been me.
With that real fine chick.
You know it should have been me. Eating ice cream and cake. It should have been me.
Getting my natural kicks.
It should have been me.
Getting my natural kicks.
Hey, 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 hey.
Loving those
crazy chicks.
Ray Charles, It Should Have Been Me. I like to hear Ray Charles next to Jerry Lee. There's almost a natural concordance there. Ray Charles loves country and western, and Jerry Lee, of course, loves the blues and soul. And actually, Jerry Lee's last recording for Sun Records was Ray Charles' What'd I Say? So there you go. We're going to go to a keyboardist of another color here, John Medeski, playing organ with the group Medeski, Martin, and Wood. This is a title track of a new collection, Last Chance to Dance Trance, Perhaps, originally taken from the recording Friday Afternoon in the Universe. That's it, last chance to dance trance. Perhaps Medeski, Martin, and Wood. Almost sounds like a surrealistic soundtrack for a roller skating scene in a movie there. Organist John Medeski, percussionist Billy Martin, and bassist Chris Wood, drawing on their earlier experience with the Lounge Lizards, Mandela Octet, John Zorn, and others. Those atmospheric sounds remind us that you can reach us by mail at 1118 Royal Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, or go to the website at www.americanroots.org and check out all the various stations that carry American Roots. And I also might mention that we are now being streamed by WUMB FM in Boston. If you'd like to find out about streaming information on our weekend broadcasts there, it's WUMB.org. American Roots is underwritten in part by Community Coffee and the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities, celebrating Louisiana culture by helping people like Jerry Lee tell their stories every day. I'm Nick Spitzer, and this is PRI, Public Radio International.